I'm Jason Perillo here with State Representative Ben McGordy and Tom Harbinson from the Jones Family Farm, and it's July, but we are actually on Pumpkin Seed Hill, and as you can see behind us, there's corn, but it's July, so the corn is very small at this point, but in just a few months, Tom, tell us what this is going to look like in a few months.
Yeah, I mean, if you were growing corn for that summer picnic, you would have planted it much earlier than we do. We plant the corn so that it's going to be at its height, ready for the corn maze, which people come to enjoy in October here at our Pumpkin Seed Hill farm. That's one of the 3 farms we have here at Jones Family Farms. We have berries here in the summertime, pumpkins in the fall at Pumpkin Seed Hill, and then of course people come for the Christmas trees over at our Homestead farm with the winery.
And how many people come through the corn maze in a year? Do you know?
I don't know how many people exactly, but it's pretty busy.
Yeah.
People are looking for an experience. And I think Connecticut has a lot to offer that, and Shelton in particular. We've got a lot of things that people can do as a family together. Yeah. It's affordable, and it's a great day out to see the countryside and learn about agriculture. Really learning about agriculture here and celebrating it.
Well, that's actually pretty cool that you mentioned it, because here we are. We're looking at corn. People think of corn very tall, and here we are. It's barely grown. But you come here for pumpkins and you see pumpkins out, but
sure.
Have you planted pumpkins at this point?
We have, yeah. We've planted the pumpkins in probably late June.
Okay.
And so now we are starting to see them start to spread out, and we've got to get in there and get the weeding done before the leaves get really big and it's hard to get that weeding done. So we'll be out there hand weeding all those pumpkin fields, and then the vines will be growing big and leafy. They like that summer energy, to grab all that energy and put it into the plant.
Can we take a look at that?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
So this kind of keeps the weeds down?
Yeah, so this is we plant winter ryegrass, and then we roll it down flat, and that provides a real nice mat, as you can see here, and it helps suppress the weeds. It helps retain moisture around the plants, and when the vines start to spread out and the pumpkins start to grow, and they really will spread out quite substantially, the pumpkins are going to be sitting on top of this mat of ryegrass.
Instead of in the mud and getting all
and so
you get them all full of mud and carrying it.
Yeah, now is the time that we have to get down there. This happens to be purslane, so we'll get down and we'll weed that, and we'll get that wet out of there. Here's another spot right here, and so it's kind of easy right now to get in there and do that weeding. But once these vines spread out with the big leaves and all the pumpkins, that gets a little hard. So a lot of hand weeding goes into maintaining the pumpkins here.
How many pumpkins do you get off one plant?
Really depends on the type of curcubit, really is the general family name. So squash, gourd, pumpkins, those come under the curcubit family name. And so pumpkins depends on the variety. Some of those little jack-o'-lantern pumpkins that you're used to carving that are about a 12-foot-inch diameter, 12-foot. I wish. 12-inch diameter.
Yeah.
Those are the types that you might get 5 or 6 off of a tendril. But right about now is when we should start to see some squash blossoms. So,
speaking of the 12-foot around ones, do you do any of those big monster ones for the state fair?
We do a couple of giant ones. We call them Jamie's Giants, because Jamie does a lot of the growing here. He's the 6th generation farmer, and he has a couple of varieties that are of that larger nature. But we're not going for the state record. Those are ones that a tremendous amount of time and effort and care into something like that. I know people do it, but for us, really, it's about getting people out here to experience how we grow pumpkins and learning how maybe they can grow pumpkins in their backyard. The big thing with any agricultural activity is having good irrigation. Now, we've been through a real dry spell, and we're fortunate that we have irrigation ponds that we draw from, and we're able to irrigate our crop. So you can see that we have prepared with our pipes right down the center aisle here, and the sprinkler heads all tied up and staked in place. So if we go through a couple more dry spell weeks, we would be ready to put that into motion.
So we're here at the vineyard.
Yeah, this is part of our vineyard here at Jones Family Farms, in winery. The winery has been operating for a little over a decade, and we have a nice variety of grapes that are growing here in this Connecticut climate and the soil types that we have here on the farm.
So now, what types of grapes are these? What variety?
I believe these are Cab Franc, and we have a nice fruiting right now with the grapes. So as we're entering into the middle and end of July, we'll start to take all these leaves off in the center fruiting zone, and that'll bring a lot more light and air movement through here and ripen those
You
up.
actually prune the leaves off the...
Yeah, we just go through and we'll pull all the leaves off that are clouding the sun from getting in and ripening all these grapes that you see here.
Now, if I were to taste... I'm stealing. If I were to taste this, what would it taste like?
Sour.
Very bitter.
Well, that's unpleasant.
No, that would not be recommended.
No.
Do you have any competition with the birds?
Yes, we lose about 30% of our crop to wildlife, and
That much?
yeah, whether it be just the birds and our blueberries, we have pumpkins. The turkeys love to eat the pumpkin seeds. We got the deer like to eat the strawberries. So there is a lot of wildlife around us, and we're glad for that because we work with the habitat and the ecosystem that we have. And we have water utility land nearby us, and we have land trust land nearby us. So we have a real large corridor of land that is forever protected from development, and that's important to us. But wildlife is an aspect you have to deal with as a farmer. Yeah.
Now, people, they see the winery, but they don't necessarily see the vineyard. You've got a lot out here.
Yeah, we have a number of different varieties. We're staying in the area where we first planted a vineyard when Jamie Jones, the sixth generation, was testing different varieties of grapes and how they would grow in our Connecticut climate. You know, we can get pretty harsh winters here in Connecticut. It's not like the Mediterranean around Spain or France, but it is an area that has its own types of varieties that work quite well, and we've been successful at growing those. So this is the original stone wall from back in the 1800s where the cattle would have been down here and getting fed with the feedstock coming right from the upstairs in the hay mow where we store all the hay and the grain in the silo. So this is authentic. This is not the kind of thing that can be recreated. This has been here for many hundred years. And the neat thing about this is all of the timbers came from trees that were planted by Philip Jones as a child.
That's awesome.
And it was done by a timber frame constructor in eastern Connecticut, Steve Strong, and we've got black walnut and the finial, and we got white pine, and we got cedar. So all of the wood that constructed that came from this farm, but not only came from the farm, it was planted by Jamie Jones's grandfather.
That's great.
So pretty fabulous. And all the stonework here with the flowers, it's beautiful right now in July, but this changes with the seasons.
Yeah.
You know, we do cooking classes out here, and we have wine tastings, and on Fridays we do the summer wine down. We got musical entertainment, specialty food, and some wine cocktails, and so this place really becomes a destination during the month of July into August on Fridays, but also then at Christmas time it becomes a destination, and in the fall with all the foliage. So you change with all the seasons, and we like to say that memories are always in season here at the farm. So.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
Tom, thanks a lot for taking time out. We really do appreciate it.
Glad to see you here again, Jason.
Hey, Tom,
Thanks so
before we
much,
go
Ben.
to your crop report, how do we find out what's
Yeah,
going on?
the crop report is done by Farmer Jones, Terry Jones, or sometimes it is myself. 203-929-8425. You're going to learn where we're picking our crop that day as we jump between the farms where the ripe berries are located in the summer. You'll learn about in the pumpkin season what's going on at the Pumpkin Seed Hill or at the Homestead Farm. And at Christmas season, we might be open here at the Homestead Farm or at the Valley Farm. So the crop report is the way you get updated every day with what's going on here if you're visiting the farm.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
Terrific. Thanks, Ben.